All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the Akim Akwath listening and learning, and to the Bayash Debadat in the house of David. This is Minavala Las Vegas Camp. I am Ayash Tab.
I'm Darash.
I'm correct, so.
All right, and Brother Darash has prepared a lesson on leprosy. All right, and Lord willing, be edifying to the body.
All right. This is going to be the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. So, if you have a bright spot in your skin that looks like the skin of a so-called white person, that's leprosy. It's a curse.
And also, or so-called skin cancer. You know, when you see, so-called black people walking around with, the skin, as a spotted hyena.
Yep.
You know, and I use the hyena because it's unclean. All right, and just spots here, spots there. All right, it's like
another, modern day disease they call it is alopecia.
And vitiligo on top of that.
Vitiligo, yeah.
God.
Albinism too. All right. Get Exodus chapter 4, verse 6.
Right, alopecia is hair. I think hair loss.
Okay.
Vitiligo, it's like you.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 and what?
Chapter 4, verse 6.
This is Exodus 4 and verse 6. It says, And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Gone. So Yahweh Shem Shai gave an example to Moses. All right, he had Moses put his hand in his bosom. Matter of fact, Salakia.
You want me to read up on that?
Come on, read up on that, Salakia.
So this is Exodus 4 and 5. Or where you want me to start?
Start at 3, I believe it is. Right?
I'll start at 2.
Come.
Exodus 4 and verse 2 says, And the Lord said unto him, What is that in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, Put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord, power of their fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob, hath appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Gone. So that was Yahweh Shem Shai right there. Basically showing and mandating, all right, the leprosy, bringing the word I'm looking for, bringing fruition, all right, for leprosy. And you can continue to read on that.
And what did he grab? He grabbed that serpent. And verse 7 says, And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
God. All right, so that's a perfect example of leprosy through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai.
Leviticus 13 and 13.
Oops, lucky.
You know, when you make that deal with the with the serpent, you know, it's unclean unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Okay. This is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 13. Salaki. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean.
So, these so-called white people, they are known as clean lepers because they were born without melanin. They don't have that. They're basically born cursed. They're constantly. That's why, you know, when they go in the sun they burn, and why, you know, they're vitamin D deficient. And plus the blue eyes. Blue eyes is also a sign of leprosy. Blonde hair. Everything about him is just a curse.
God. And it's but it's cursed for that yellow. What's blonde is really yellow. All right, and that's thus saith the Bible. All right, it's not. They use it as a standard of beauty here in today's society, but it's really a deficiency. Mm-hmm. You know, deficiency of melanin.
And you know, you see a lot of Israelite women who have these blonde wigs on. They trying to be like their oppressors. You know, it's like you said, it's all backwards in the society. Genesis 4:14.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, and verse 14, and it reads, "Behold, thou hast driven me out." Slaki. "Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth." Slakia. "And from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a Slakia. Let me bring it closer, a little far away from me. Shall be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me." Verse 15. "And Yahweh said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slay Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him."
And that mark upon Cain, that was the curse of leprosy. So that way, you know, we know who that fugitive and vagabond is. And you know, when you look at the word vagabond, it just means a wanderer, a nomad, moving from place to place. And to show you and to prove that, we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25.
It's like how in prison, how he put them in them orange jumpsuits, you know. So if they ever go on the run, you know, they stand out like a sore thumb in society.
Exactly.
Can be identified.
This is going to be the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 24. And this is talking about Rebecca. "And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red, all over like a hairy garment." So, and they called his name Esau. So, what nation of people, you know, come out of their mother's womb and they're red all over? These so-called white people. And verse 26, "And after that came his brother out, and he in his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob." So, you know, they didn't describe what Jacob looked like because, you know, at the time that the whole world was melanin. Everyone had melanin. So,
Fine. And because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because reincarnation is real. All right? Whether you care to hear it, forbear it, or not. All right, it is real. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 8. It's lucky, I believe it's verse 8.
I was going to
Go ahead.
All right, this is going to go into Esau's blessing. It's going to show you just exactly what I meant by vagabond, a wanderer, a nomad. So Esau's blessing is going to be Genesis 27. The book of Genesis chapter 27, verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So these so-called white people, they owned the majority of the land. They have all these houses, so they don't have just one spot. They can move from place to place. They don't really have a definitive home that they could just settle, and they can move from one place to another. So they can't just stay in one spot. And the dew and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke of iron from off thy neck. So, right now, that sword is the modern day military, and Edom owns that. He has the best of everything. So, he's in rulership right now. He's our elder brother. You can go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11, and it reads, Because sentence against an evil work is not expedient speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of man is fully set in them to do evil. All right, and Salaki, I thought I had another one.
Reread that out.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, and it is chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not exedient.
Executed.
Executed speedily.
Expediently.
It's not executed speedily.
Executed speedily. I'm tongue twisted right now. Executed speedily. All right. Therefore, the heart of the sons of man is fully set in them to do evil. All right. And just because the judgment. So why? I was like, it was right there. Just because the judgment wasn't given to Esau, Edom right then. All right. Cain had that mark. All right. Cain had a mark, but that same spirit was reincarnated. All right.
And I'm going to prove it to you right here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. Is there anything new? Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us.
It's lucky. But it knows.
Verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So, that right there proves that, if you're under the sun, you're nothing new. You've been here before in another lifetime. So, that pretty much solidifies the point with reincarnation. So, Esau is Cain in the reincarnation. He's that same spirit that slew his brother from before time, and Jacob was Abel. You want to get that account?
What?
Jacob and not Jacob and Abel. Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel. No, what chapter?
It was the book of Genesis, chapter 4. It was chapter 4, verse 6.
Right.
Go ahead.
Or you want me to get that? I gotta read from 6 down, I guess.
Yeah.
It says, this is Genesis 4 and 6. It says, And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? It says, if thou doest well, thou shalt thou not be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
Alright. So, out of jealousy, because the Lord chose Abel over Cain. Now, if we go back to
and that was because of Cain took that sacrifice that he was that the Lord had told both of them to give, Cain and Abel, and he was mad. He was wroth with jealousy.
And jealousy is the rage of a man. So, go ahead.
Come on. And that's why he was wroth with Abel, because the Lord took his sacrifice, was more acceptable in his eyes, and he had favor towards Abel.
All right. This is going to be Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And this is going to Esau. Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So, what is Esau doing today? He's killing us off. Just like how Cain slew his brother Abel back then. So, Esau has his police force, killing off random jakes. And most of these jakes, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just minding their own business.
Most of them, not the 2/3.
But the 2/3,
they following after that same spirit of Cain. The same spirit that the so-called white man Esau has tried to persuade them to lean onto, and actually has convinced the 2/3 to follow that way, because it's better, and by doing so they'll get the fatness of the earth on this side, just like he did. But they only get to a certain level, and then Cain, Esau tapped them out. He maxed them out. Well, they still, just a couple millionaire.
Okay.
I want to grab this real quick. This is Hebrews 11:4, and it says, "By faith, Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh."
So, Cain is ill spoken of as a lesson, and Abel is still spoken of righteously, right? Mm-hmm. It is a praise unto his deed. All right, his deed in following the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, because we don't worship other men, but it is a praise unto his deed for obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. Everything that is written foretime is written for our learning. All right?
All right.
And matter of fact, it goes back into Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not exceeding executed speedily, therefore the heart of the Son of Man is fully set in them to do evil. Verse 12, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the power, which fear before him. Verse 13, and here it is in verse 13, also the point. But it shall not be well with them, with the wicked, neither shall be prolong his days which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the power. All right? And that's because Cain had no fear. He had no fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? He didn't fear his judgment until he got it.
Right.
You know? He had no fear until he got his judgment, and then he cried and said, I surely can't take this. This is too much for me to bear. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is just in all his ways. All right? And it goes to show you, it is through the leprosy, all right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai put that mark on that man, all right? And that nation.
Not just to set an example, but just to show you who was the one that slayed his brother. So that way you know who he is. You know, anything else?
Yeah. This is Hebrews 12 and 16 says, lest there be any fornicator. I'm going to read up 15. Hebrews 12 and 15. It says, look diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness spring up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. You know? God. And that's how much he cared about his birthright, not knowing what it really was going to be, and then he cried about it after he did it.
God.
And then going back into, what was it?
Cain and Abel.
Like 8 and 13 in Ecclesiastes.
God. You want me to read it again for you?
You don't got to read it, but that's that same spirit. They said that they did nothing wrong, you know.
God, and it goes back to Cain and Abel once again, not accepting that judgment for that sacrifice.
Because the judgment is gonna come sooner or later. You know, it's written all over the book. You know, in Habakkuk chapter 2, you know, the end will, it shall tarry.
God.
You know. Let me just I'm gonna grab this in Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 5, and because this show that same spirit. This is 5, and I'm gonna start at 20. It says, "Woe unto them." Yeah, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. It says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Kind of, that's E in a nutshell right there. He reward the dark wicked shit that you do, and the righteous. When you do something righteous, it get downplayed and told you, that ain't the right thing to do.
God.
You're gonna get, more than likely, you get reprimanded from it. You get locked up.
God. I got nothing.
No, that's it.
All right. I was gonna say pull Job 30 and the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 4 through 8.
You got it.
This is Job 30 and verse 4. Who cut up mallows? Is that what you wanted?
Who cut up? Yeah.
Okay, come on. This is Job 30 and 4. It says, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat? They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
So Esau, Edom, so-called white nation, wherever they go, destruction follows. They destroy everything. Everything is just laid to waste. Nothing prospers. Nothing is fruitful.
Because they use up, they use up all the resources. That's why, was that in Revelation we say that they live, deliciously.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about that whore, Babylon.
Hey. That's the nature of Esau Edom.
I mean, look at all that he's done. The chemtrails from the jets that be flying around, and the food being defiled, GMOs, just everything. Everywhere you go, it's all defiled. The whole land's defiled. So I hope this lesson was edifying on knowing the curse of leprosy and who the real fugitive and vagabond is.
Bit more. Went from leprosy to talk about Esau Edom and how the leprosy has really followed him.
Mm-hmm.
And Salaki, it says the leprosy is his nature. To be unclean is his nature. All right.
They were the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction.
God.
Paraphrasing, so we would like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash.
Double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and to the Akim and Aqua that are listening and learning and preaching and teaching with all truth and sincerity. Shalom. We say shalom, and to the elect house of David, we give you our utmost sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom, wa abba.
Shalom, wa abba. Oh.